2 women have died and 9 have been injured in shelling by Ukrainian forces along the Russian border region of Belgorod. The governor of the region said victims were hit by shrapnel as they were travelling in a car, blaming the latest strikes on Ukraine. So let's speak to Oleksey Sorokin, who's senior editor for the Kyiv Independent. Good afternoon, Oleksey.
Hello.
Are you able to piece together what has happened in Belgorod?
Well, if we're talking about the Belgrade region, then we're talking about the neighboring villages on the border. And apparently, for the past week, forces that are linked to Ukraine decided to take the war into Russian territory. First, it was the incursion done by the Russian battalions. Now we see shelling. And I think this is a strategy of moving the war closer to home for the Russians.
I mean, one of the most prominent anti-Kremlin paramilitary groups said it's been engaging in military operations nearby Belgorod. How much evidence is there of growing discontent within Russia, or is that wishful thinking in some ways by Ukraine?
I think it's wishful thinking. We don't see any opposition in Russia. Even more so, people who live in Russia see this as an attack on Russia and may even support the Russian government more than they already do. But this is important for Ukraine to see that they can actually push the red lines further and further, and Russia, unfortunately for them, can't do much about it.
On a separate story, Volodymyr Zelensky has stepped up his demands for NATO to progress Ukraine's bid to join the military alliance. There's growing frustration within Ukraine, isn't there, about that?
Of course, but Ukraine is realistic. Recently, one of the deputy heads of the president's office said that we understand that Ukraine won't join NATO before the war is over, but Ukraine wants some kind of tangible guarantees that this is an option, a possibility that's open for Ukraine in the future, because since 2008, we haven't seen any moves from NATO willing to accept Ukraine.
And in the meantime, NATO could well offer some sort of security guarantees as a kind of path to eventual membership.
I think any security guarantees are useless in this point because we understand that the war is not going to stop. What NATO can do for Ukraine and what Ukraine wants is actually a roadmap that's set for after the war, and also more weapons from the West, like ATACMS and like F-16s, obviously.
At Times Radio, we bring the front pages to life. Tune in to hear me, Cathy Newman, on Drive every Friday, 4 till 7.